What's good, y'all? It's that boy, Easy Millions, and I'm your host of that boy, ETV. You already know, man, we are back on Multiversus, and today we got our big mid-season update, so I'm here to bring y'all these patch notes, baby, so let's get into this. First, we're going to talk about General, as we got a new fighter. Agent Smith joins the Multiversus. If players complete enough tiers in the beat rifts, get Agent Smith for free in the event. All right, you can get him as early as July 8th for him. And Agent Smith will then be available for purchase on July 23rd if you aren't able to defeat all the rifts. Also, we got a new mode, Free For All. The game mode has been added to all normal PvP queues. Battle against up to 3 other players, become the first king of the Multiverses. First player to 4 ringouts is the winner, man. So we got Free For All back. Also, we got a new mode. We got the Spectator mode, as it's now available for custom games. So now we can have better tournaments. We also have post-game stats have returned. So now you can see your total ring outs, damage dealt, and the results of every match after PvP or PvE matches. And the battle pass now has tiers that can be purchased with Gleamium, man. So those are some big changes right there for General. But we also got some input preferences, where they're reintroducing some of the input preferences that were popular during the open beta. We hope this helps players feel more comfortable as they fine-tune their combat experience. So things that were added are customizable input buffers, customizable control stick inputs as far as the dead zones for both your left and right stick, the side/neutral attack inputs for ground or air, toggleable options to use attack inputs to pick up items, fast fall method input settings, customizable neutral dodge input binding. Now, let's get into some combat changes. Upon hit stun ending, fighters now incur a 6-frame lockout on the neutral dodge action. This will make it more difficult to parry attacks in the middle of a combo. Directional dodges are unaffected. Excessively long combo strings now apply a vacuum attack hit stun decay penalty. This should allow for players to more easily escape previously inescapable infinite team combos, such as an alternating Superman rapid jab combos. Also, attacks that incapacitate fighters now apply temporary incapacities/resistance buffs to the incapacitated fighter. This will make subsequent incapacitated attacks have a much shorter duration. This should allow for players to more easily escape previously inescapable infinite incapacitate combos, such as altering Jake Bite/Spit. Affected attacks will be noted in individual character patch notes. And the side attack combo input buffer has been standardized for all fighters. It should now be easier to buffer a different attack during a jab combo without accidentally inputting further attacks in the jab combo. So that right there is important because I play Stripe and sometimes I get extra inputs on it when I just want to do like 2 forward attacks and then an up attack. It usually gives me on 3. But let's keep moving. We got general bug fixes. They fixed an issue where fighters that took fire or shock damage on the same frame that were hit by an attack would cause the attack to be ignored. They fixed an issue where fighters could respond without spawning invulnerability. For general perks, they fixed an issue where all team perks were always given their stacked effect, which is crazy, but let's be real, everyone uses the same 3 perks anyway. Protective momentum. The projectile shield now breaks after blocking 1 normal or 1 heavy projectile, man. So those are like the general fixes of gameplay and little things here in the settings. But now we're going to get into the nitty gritty, which everyone is probably here for. It's going to be these character changes. So let's go ahead and get into this because we have a lot to go over. So for Arya, her ground dash attack, they've updated the knockback to be more consistent near the ledge. Her air/ground neutral special, they fixed an issue where Arya would float into space while attempting to use face steal. So for Arya, nothing too special right there, just some quick changes. For Banana Guard, his air neutral attack on hit branch window find frames is now earlier. For his air side attack, the damage has been reduced to 11 from 12. And the on-whiff branch window has been delayed 4 frames. For his air/ground neutral special, strength buff is now consumed after successful attack to an enemy. For ground down special, on hit branch window can now be canceled 26 frames earlier. Ground side special, on whiff branch window delay has been delayed 4 frames, man. So with Banana Guard there, it looks like he has a lot of delays going on. Looks like a lot of nerfs to him on whiffing, which is cool because especially with that ground side special, I'm glad that they added a little bit more window delay when you're whiffing on that because people just like to throw that shit out there, man. They need to bring back Attack Decay. I don't know why they haven't brought it back yet, but let's get into this as we got Batman. His ground dash attack on whiff branch window delayed 8 frames. His air/ground neutral special. They fixed an issue where Bat Bomb could be applied to 2 enemies simultaneously if hit on the same frame. And for his air down special, the leg hurt box size has been increased, man. So just a couple fixes here for Batman, nothing too special. For Black Adam, the ground up attack, the lightning strike projectile now applies a 4-second cooldown. The ground down attack, the knockback has been increased to 2300 from 2200. On hit dodge branch window has been delayed 5 frames. Your air up attack, the final hit base knockback has been reduced to 1500 from 1750. On whiff, the branch window has been delayed 5 frames. For your air neutral attack, visuals now better match hitbox size, man. So with Black Adam here, it seems like there's a lot of delays on the frame, but he also got some reduced knockback on some of his stuff. So a couple changes there. Let me know down in them comments, Black Adam mains, how you feel. Now let's get into the first character that has a lot of changes, and that's Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny is living up to his identity as a strong mage a little bit too well right now. We're hoping to reduce the time that his safe can remain on screen by making it a bit more fragile. And we're looking to tone down some of the more toxic loops that come from his air neutral attack. So his air neutral attack, a repeat move lockout has been increased to 18 frames from 8 frames. On hit jump branch window has been delayed 4 frames. Attacking a safe will now only knock back the safe on the last hit of the attack. We're keeping an eye on this change and may adjust a hitbox fix if this makes neutral air attack plus safe interactions too difficult. His air up attack, hitbox active duration has been reduced 2 frames. His air ground attack, or the pie, projectile hurt box size has been increased to match hitbox size. Should address issues with inconsistent projectile interactions. For his air down attack with no pie, more aerial momentum is maintained on attack startup. For his air ground side neutral special, which is the safe, enemy attacks only do 1 damage to the safe. Armor break hits still immediately destroy the safe. The safe health has been reduced to 3 HP from 16 HP. For his air/ground neutral special on cooldown, the 1-hit branch window has been delayed 5 frames, and the knockback angle made more horizontal. Air/ground up special, they lowered platform height of vertical rocket to address issue where platform collision will push enemies away from the hitbox. For your air/ground down special, they addressed several issues with tunnels where fighters could be trapped indefinitely or teleported off screen without being wrung out. Bugs will now attempt to reserve direction if his destination tunnel is destroyed while he is traveling between tunnels. For his lingering love perk, it now has a melee hitbox while projectile spawn is on cooldown. So a lot of changes to Bugs Bunny. I think the biggest one is going to be to that safe, because I'm tired of people putting that shit on the screen and constantly playing around it. So I'm glad they made some changes to the safe, man. But let's keep it moving as we got Finn, his ground neutral attack, the knockback scaling to 15.5 from 14. The ground up attack, knockback scaling to 20.5 from 19.5. And the ground down attack, they fixed an issue where this attack was not breaking armor on both hits. So there, right here, we pretty much have some knockback scaling for Finn, which is all buffs. So nothing really big there. Finn main should be pretty happy. Now, we're getting to my main chick, Garnet. And let's see what they did to her. Because, you know, I've been hoping that they did something to her. But we got Garnet. Air side attack 1. Now applies a remove lockout after ground side attack 1. Air lockout duration matches ground lockout duration of 16 frames. Okay. Ground side attack 2. The up version, which is the uppercut. has hit stun has been reduced, and knockback has been increased to 1750 from 1650. Hitbox startup time advanced 5 frames, so it must start up faster. The ground down attack on hit branch window advanced 2 frames. For her air/ground down special, placing the star will automatically adjust its position to prevent Garnet from ringing herself out on her star dash. And for our marker perk, which I guess they put back in the game, gauntlets no longer spawn a star if the gauntlets were destroyed from leaving the arena. So this right here has to do with the whole thing about, I guess, Garnet's putting the marker off screen and taking you off. Those are scrubs, okay? If you played against a Garnet that's out here doing that, they're scrubs. That's all I'm going to say. And the fact that they had to take this perk out and then bring it back in is just kind of crazy, man. But let me not get on tangent until the end of the video. So we got Gizmo. Gizmo balance has looked much better after his nerfs in the 1.02 patch. We are hoping to address a few lingering issues with his arrow and car gameplay before we let the death settle for a bit. So his air/ground neutral attack, they fixed an issue where Gizmo would get multiple jumps in the air while charging an arrow. They adjusted jump height during arrow charge to better match his normal jump heights. For ground up attack, popcorn charge no longer affects arrow explosion/damage and knockout. For his ground side special, the car speed has been reduced to 2350 from 3000. The car health has been reduced to 5 HP from 8 HP. Car is now automatically destroyed if left idle for 6 seconds. Air side special, on whiff branch window has been delayed by 8 frames. Air/ground up special, increased attack radius to 575 units from 250. Gizmo should have an easier time snapping to his car and his allies without needing to precisely aim the attack, man. So big changes to Gizmo's car, but these were needed as he's one of the most annoying people to fight in this game. But let's keep going. We got Harley Quinn. Harley's balance was mostly tackled in the 1.02 patch. We made some additional finer tuning based on feedback. We have adjusted ground up attack to feel more responsive and to allow Harley to pressure her opponents with follow-ups. Both Harley's neutral special Bat Doll and Stripe's down special Dynamite have been adjusted so that the item timer begins to tick down immediately once equipped to make these items have windows of counterplay. So, for the ground up attack, the on-hit branch window has been advanced 6 frames. For the ground down attack, maximum movement from charge increased 5%. Air up attack, on-hit branch window has been delayed 5 frames. On whiff, branch window has been delayed 5 frames. The knockback has been increased to 1250 from 1175. For the air/ground neutral special, explosion timer now begins while the Bat Doll is in Harley's hands. Cooldown timer now begins when the Bat Doll is in Harley's hands. The Bat Doll will only spawn an explosion hitbox if it explodes after being thrown by Harley. Bat Doll is now considered an item while Harley has it equipped. Throwing the Bat Doll no longer consumes an air special. They fixed an issue where the Bat Doll would not attach to a fighter after colliding with certain projectiles or terrain. They fixed an issue where Bat Doll could be equipped while Harley had an available Bat Doll to detonate. And for an air/ground down special, explosion now classified as a projectile hit, meaning it can proc projectile effects like the flammable dock perk. So, big changes to her Bat Doll. I know that's a big part of y'all's offense. So, Harley mains, please let us know down in the comments how y'all feel about this. Now, Iron Giant. His passive. Allies can no longer enter the pilot turret while Iron Giant is in a grab state. They fixed an issue where Iron Giant could still use range mode attacks while polymorphed. Ground side attack on whiff branch window has been delayed 6 frames. Air side attack, the hitbox size adjusted so it's less likely for Iron Giant to hit enemies behind him. His air neutral attack, on whiff branch window has been delayed 6 frames. His air/ground up special, attack now transitions the final hit after successfully damaging an enemy. His upper body is now projectile intangible while Iron Giant is spinning. They fixed a bug that would allow this attack to hit 5 frames on occasion instead of the intended max of 3. So we have even more changes to Iron Giant. They still need to tweak them a little bit more, in my opinion. Well, they needed to. Now we have to go in and see how they did with these changes here. But it seems like they've been good changes so far. So now we got Jake. Jake has been having a rough time since our official launch. With these characters, we're looking to make him feel more like an aerial bruiser and less like a bite spammer. So for general, they fixed an issue where Jake cannot hold special inputs using the right stick. The ground neutral attack, the startup window before charge reduced 6 frames. The startup window after charge has been reduced 4 frames. For the air side attack, the hitbox size has been increased to better match visuals, and the hitbox active duration increased by 3 frames. Air neutral attack, the hitbox startup time advanced 2 frames. Air down attack, more aerial momentum is maintained on attack startup. Air up attack 1, the hitbox startup time advanced 3 frames. And for his ground/air neutral special, now applies incapacitate resistance buff to incapacitated enemies, man. So we know that right there was spoken about earlier in the patch, and they were mostly specifically talking about Jake, so we're not surprised there. Now, we got Jason. For general, the machete hitbox on several attacks now better match attack visuals. Ground neutral attack, the hitbox startup time advanced 2 frames. For ground side attack 1, the hitbox startup time advanced 1 frame. For ground up attack, they fixed an issue where the first hit would not properly vacuum into the second hit under certain circumstances. For your air neutral attack, the startup window has been reduced 3 frames, and the on-whiff branch window has been delayed 5 frames. For his air down attack, the hitbox startup time advanced 1 frame, will now hit higher up on Jason, and the hitbox added to Jason's head. For his ground down special, they removed Sleeping Bag's property as a projectile attack. It should no longer interact with Marvin's bubble or Rick's portal. And they fixed an issue where Jason could grab certain boss enemies in Rift. So right there, a lot of changes to Jason, some buffs and some fixes, but primarily buffs, man. So good for Jason. Now we got Lebron. His ground dash attack, the hitbox startup time advanced 6 frames, no longer prevents terrain bounce on knockback. Ground dash attack with no basketball, no longer prevents terrain bounce on knockback. Ground neutral attack, the hitbox startup after charging advanced 10 frames. The maximum charge time has been increased, and the required charge amount for armor increased 4 frames. For ground side attack, they fixed an issue where dodge attack momentum was not properly conserved. For ground down attack, the first hit damage increased to 9 from 7. First hit knockback increased to 1825 from 1650. Second hit knockback increased to 1750 from 1650. First hit knockback scaling has been increased to 16 from 14, and the knockback has been made more vertical. For air neutral attack, the first hit more reliably combos into the second hit, and a repeat move lockout increased to 15 frames from 8 frames. For his air neutral attack, the first hit more reliably combos in the second hit. Repeat move lockout increased to 15 frames from 8 frames. Air side attack, hitbox startup time advanced 4 frames. And knockback scaling increased 19 from 15. Air ground side special, startup on hitting ground increased 6 frames. Hitbox size has been increased. And for his air down special with no basketball, now allows ground movement while holding the special button. Max horizontal speed has been reduced. Now, onto Marvin. Air/ground neutral attack. Bubble projectiles now have a minimum additional lifetime of 5 seconds to prevent projectiles breaking immediately after being trapped. They fixed an issue where the bubble would get unnecessarily large after trapping certain projectiles. They fixed an issue where certain projectiles would not be properly trapped. For ground side attack, projectile lifetime reduced to 2.75 seconds from 4.25 seconds. For air/ground down special, they fixed an issue where the flag would fall through the platform on which it was placed. For Morty, general, They fixed his drive animation facing the wrong way. Ground side attack 3, uncharged hitbox startup time reduced. Allows easier combos from side attack 2 into side attack 3. Air side attack 2, the hitbox active duration reduced to prevent Morty from hitting behind himself. Air/ground neutral special, grenade are now properly blocked by projectile blocking effects. For ground side special, splitting a grenade properly spawns 2 grenades moving on opposite directions. On whiff branch window has been delayed 10 frames. They fixed an issue where the on hit branch window was not being acknowledged. Attack can now be branched much sooner on hit. And for the I'm More Than a Hammer perk, on whiff branch window has been delayed 15 frames and the horizontal movement has been reduced. Now, Reindog. For ground/air attack, the uncharged damage increased to 4.5 from 4. Uncharged knockback is increased to 1250 from 1200. And uncharged knockback scaling has been increased to 26 from 24. His air up special. Reindog now flies more horizontally when thrown sideways by an enemy. By an ally. Air/ground neutral special no longer damages invulnerable enemies. Now for Rick. His Bit of Stickler Meeseek signature perk returns. The perk effect, Rick's Meeseeks deal extra damage to fighters that are already in hit stun. For his ground side attack 1, hitbox active duration reduced to 1 frame. And for air/ground side special, they address several issues with portals where fighters could be trapped indefinitely or teleported off screen without ringing out. And Rick now takes a priority traversing through portals if he attempts to spawn the second portal while another fighter is entering his first portal. Okay? For Shaggy, his ground up attack has hit stun reduced. His ground down special, sandwiches no longer collide with the bottom of falling platforms. Fall through platform, okay. Air up special, damage reduced to 9 from 10. Ground up special is unchanged. Knockback reduced to 1400 from 1500. Ground up special unchanged. Knockback has been made more horizontal. And for Hungry Man perk, the change duration while holding a sandwich has been extended. Now for Steven Universe. Steven's long range and low whiff recovery made him feel incredibly oppressive in close fights. His low whiff recovery combos pair particularly well with his bubble shield passive, making it difficult to punish Steven when he makes a mistake. These changes target his range and whiff recovery to bring him more in line with the rest of the cast. So for general, they fixed an issue where Steven's enemies could stack Rose debuff on themselves by hitting each other. They fixed an issue where dodge attack momentum was not properly conserved on grounded attacks. For passive, neutral dodge shield startup increased to 20 frames from 8 frames. This adds a vulnerable window after neutral dodge before shield begins. Directional dodge startup increased to 10 frames from 4 frames. And bubble shield ammo cooldown increased to 13 seconds from 5 seconds. Ground up attack, charge knockback multiplier reduced. And the hitbox size adjusted so it's less likely for Steven to hit enemies behind him. For air neutral attack no longer classified as a projectile hit, meaning it can no longer proc projectile effects like that flammable dock perk. And the on whiff window has been delayed 5 frames. For his air down attack, on whiff branch window delayed 8 frames. Hitbox startup delayed 1 frame. And repeat move lockout increased to 16 frames from 8 frames. For his air/ground side special, they spawned a shield no longer counts as a solid ground for beginning up special cooldown. Air/ground up special now take damage on fighter terrain bounce and will break after 3 bounces. Behavior matches side special shield. Ground down special. They fixed an issue where the animation would not cancel if Steven became airborne during the attack. And for air down special, hitbox size reduced over Steven has landed on the ground. Now, a lot of changes to Steven, so down in the comments, let us know how these changes affected him. Now we got Stripe. General, they fixed an issue where Stripe's hurtbox will be misaligned during dodge animations. For his air/ground down special, now begins a 5-second explosion timer once equipped. And they fixed an issue where the dynamite would not visually appear as Stripe's hands if the equipped animation was interrupted. I noticed that myself because I do actually play Stripe, so that's good to know. For Superman, the Flaming Re-entry signature perk returns. Perk effect: Superman's leap attack is stronger and ignites enemies. The landing from the attack leaves a firewall on the ground. Ground up attack has hit stun reduced. Air/ground neutral special no longer infuses projectiles with ice above 6 stacks. Air side special: they fix an issue where Superman will drop a fighter if the button was released too early. And they fix an issue where the grab fighters could get stuck to Superman if he grabbed a wall. His air up special: on whiff branch window has been delayed 4 frames. And his air/ground special: fix an issue where Superman will float away while attacking certain conditions. And the break the ice perk: they fix an issue where bonus damage was not being applied to frozen enemies, man. So now on to Taz. We got ground dash attack. First hit more reliably combos in the second hit. Ground side attack: they fix an issue preventing Taz from doing actions other than side attack after jab 1. Ground neutral attack: damage from charged increase. Uncharged knockback increase from 1450 from 1200. Uncharged knockback scaling increased to 12 from 12.5. Hit stun has been reduced slightly. Knockback made more vertical. An on-hit branch window has been delayed 7 frames. His ground up attack: the first hit prevents terrain bounce on knockback. Final hit unchanged. Air attack neutral: change damage multiplier reduced. Maximum damage after both hits reduced to 19 from 29. Air side attack: the hitbox size has been increased 20%. Air down attack: second hit damage increased to 8 from 4. Second hit knockback increased to 1250 from 440. Second hit knockback scaling increased to 22 from 17. And ground/air neutral special now applies incapacitate resistance buff to incapacitated enemies. And they fixed an issue where Taz could get stuck in an eat loop indefinitely until he was hit, man. So changes to Taz here. I didn't really notice any changes to his tornado, which I think is a side special, so I didn't really notice anything there. But Taz mains let us know, man. So for Tom and Jerry, general, jump 1 speed has been increased, and jump 2 speed and height has been increased. For his passive, they fixed a visual arrow indicator meant to show Jerry's indication when Jerry is off screen. And for air/ground up special, they fixed an issue where Jerry cooldown would not start if Jerry died while attached to a rocket. Now, for the Joker, general, ground side dodge distance has been reduced 10%. His ground side attack: the hitbox size adjusted so it's less likely for the Joker to hit enemies behind him. On whiff branch window delayed 4 frames. Air/ground neutral attack: diamond card now properly comes to a stop after colliding with terrain. Air up attack now applies repeat move lockout for 8 frames. On whiff branch window delayed 4 frames. Air side special: on hit branch window delayed 10 frames. Air/ground up special: they fixed an issue where riding the balloon would immediately ring out the rider. Air down special: repeat move lockout increased to 15 frames from 8 frames. And Joker's wild perk: the knockback scaling has been reduced to 21 from 27. I know Joker is a popular character, so let us know how these changes affect him. Now, we got 2 more, so hang in there with me. We got Velma. These are the changes we're referring to in our Velma changes in the 1.02 patch. We hope to address some of the worst bugs impacting Velma players and also give her some strength in her zoning tools. So for general, they fixed an issue where Velma could get stuck to any fighter that grabbed Velma under certain conditions. For passive, they fixed an issue where evidence would stop randomly spawning on the map after Velma was wrung out. For ground side attack 1, on whiff branch window advanced 4 frames. For ground side attack 2, on whiff branch window advanced 4 frames. Ground up attack: Velma can now hold forward to slide forward during attack startup. Air/ground neutral attack: Velma can now aim the megaphone. Air/ground neutral special: branch windows are now standardized for both air and ground versions. Hey projectile: hurtbox size has been increased to match hitbox size. Should address issues with inconsistent projectile interactions. And all speech bubble types no longer collide with fall through platforms. Her ground side special: Maximum charge run speed increased. Knockback reduced to 2,300 from 2,500. Knockback scaling increased to 9 from 0. They fixed an issue where Velma could run off the screen if the ground was destroyed beneath her while running. Air side special now ignores players' collisions during movement. Air up special now has a chance to spawn evidence. And ground down special, the mystery machine, they fixed an issue where Velma could fall to her death if the ground was destroyed beneath her while summoning the mystery machine, man. So many changes. One thing I'm going to point out is they now allow her to aim her megaphone, but they will not allow Garnet to aim her gauntlets anymore. It's fucking crazy. Now, finally, the last person we got is Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman has been feeling a little strong since the official launch. We want to keep her identity as the easy pickup armored tank, but in that vein, we don't think you should be able to score easy ring outs easier than the rest of the cast. These changes should make her feel a little easier to play against while slightly toning down her KO power. So for passive, blocking a projectile will not only charge Wonder Woman's passive if the projectile has an active hitbox. This will fix issues where Wonder Woman could gain a full passive charge from projectiles like Jerry or Bugs is safe. Ground up attack, on hit branch window delayed 3 frames. Ground down attack, additional damage from passive charge reduced. Additional knockback from passive charge reduced. Self-applied armor now falls off after the hitbox ends. Ally armor unchanged. Air side attack, on with branch window delayed 2 frames. Damage reduced to 9 from 11. Knockback scaling reduced to 19 from 20.5. Knockback increased from 1350 to 1250. The base knockback was increased to account for the lower knockback of the reduced damage. And for air down attack, they reduced duration visually in attack pose, branch windows, and hitbox timing unchanged. For air/ground neutral special, they fixed an issue where lasso could sometimes be reflected. Lasso is not reflectable. For ground side special, self-applied armor now falls off after the initial dash. Ally armor unchanged. The repeat move lockout increased to 18 frames from 8 frames. And they fixed an issue with a self-imposed slow while holding the shield could be cleansed. Okay, ground up special, hitbox startup delayed 2 frames. Air up special, knockback angle made more diagonal. Ground up special, knockback unchanged. Hitbox startup delayed 2 frames. Updated movement after launch to prevent Wonder Woman from falling too quickly. Air/ground down special. The cooldown has been increased to 33 seconds from 28. And the Shield of Athena perk, they fixed an issue where Wonder Woman can block ally projectiles, man. So, whoo! This is a long video. There's a lot of patch notes, and I have things to say. But I'm going to come out with a video on my own about that. So, because this video is already long enough. So, as always, please like, comment, subscribe, follow, share, become a supporter. And catch me streaming on Facebook Gaming and Twitch at ThatBoyETV. This has been another Patch Notes video. I'm going to catch you on my thoughts later on. I'm out. Peace.